pleasure.
No doubt. Yes, I'm looking forward to it myself.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be, no doubt, no doubt.
It's good to meet you.
It's good to meet you. Thank you for all that
stopping by.
you. Thank you for all that you do. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh,
So I appreciate
she
you.
was a girl. Yes, I just want to take a few pictures.
Sure, whatever you like to do.
Okay.
I got like 3.
So how did you first get involved with the whole hidden colors thing?
Well, you know what was interesting? There's a brother from North Carolina, Ola. If you see the credits, he's the like the assistant to Tariq. He's from North Carolina. And this was like 2010. He gave me a call, and he said, "Brother, we've been following your work. You know, I represent Flex Entertainment, and we've been following your work for a while, and we'd like, you know, we're doing a documentary, and we'd like to know if you'd be interested in being a part of it." And I had a class in Harlem that I taught every Thursday evening called a Per Unc. And they said, "Can we arrange to somehow meet?" And I said, "Well, you know what we can do? You can meet in the class on a Thursday when I'm having a class. Come on up, you know, with your camera crew and everybody, and we'll talk." Now, I had just done a documentary on African hair. There was a Dominican sister that was a student of mine in college. She was from the Dominican Republic. And she was one of 3 girls. She was the oldest, and she was looked up to. She set the tone for all the other sisters and for the family's children, girls. She was called the Beautiful One, you know. And she took my class, and she then majored in Black Studies. She double majored. Black Studies was one of them. And in that, she stopped straightening her hair. And she called me one day, after she had graduated, she called me, she said, "You know, I just can't understand how I fell from grace in my family. You know, they don't look at me like they used to look at me anymore. You know, they want me to keep straightening my hair." They said, they refer to me as the one that used to be beautiful.
Wow.
And she said, "I never realized how tormented our people are, Dominicans. Not in particular, but black folk who can't handle our hair." And she said, "There's a brother and we'd like to do a documentary on hair, and we'd like you to be a part of this." I said, "Sure." Do you know the father and daughter team that rode 400 years around a comb in California? There's a sister who rode a boat with her father, 400 years, and it traced what has happened to us over time with hair for the past 400 years. Got a video on it and got a book on it. Yeah, great. They were part of it. But what they wanted me to do was to do the science of hair. And so what I did is I tracked back into Africa, and I spoke about the role that sebum, which is in the hair follicles, plays as you know, the oily sacs explode and come to the surface of the skin, and how mixed with the heat of the sun it creates elliptical shaped hair. And that is basically kinky hair, and that is what protected the early humans from getting skin cancer and melanomas of the scalp, because that kinky hair protects the scalp. As we moved, and we did a whole geography piece. I took them through the whole process of, once we get to the northern climates, that sebum was allowed to be produced. So it didn't sit on the hair and get burnt like it's an oil that protects. You know, like I explained it, like, you know, when a woman is getting her hair, or a man, getting their hair processed, they put that protective covering over it first to protect the scalp. Well, that's what sebum does naturally. Well, when you get away from the sun, the sun no longer burns that sebum, so it's allowed to attach itself to the hair follicles. And it weighs on a hair follicle, and that's what makes it become straight. And so we went through the science of it. But when that documentary was about to be released, Chris Rock's movie, Good Hair, came out.
Right.
So they shelved it.
Oh, I see.
They shelved it. They said, "We can't compete with this because everybody's so busy laughing. Nobody will take this seriously." So they shelved it. It's still somewhere, but it's not there. But I'm saying this because at the same time, I had just done this, and when the brother said, "Do you want?" I said, "Sure." So he came up. Tariq came up, and the team from Montreal, Lab Noise, who was the camera crew.
Right.
And they came in and they set up and they, what you're looking at in Hidden Colors 1 is me in class. My students are behind the camera. Because we still had the class. Because
Really?
after they left, we just went back and started teaching the class we were going to teach anyway.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay.
And so what you're looking at Hidden Colors 1 is the first 2 hours is Hidden Colors being taped. And then after they left, Lab Noise left and everybody, and Tariq left, and I just taught the class.
Wow.
And that's Hidden Colors. That's where I have that jacket on there.
Okay.
You know, red, black, and green.
Right, okay.
And, you know, that's how it happened. I've done a number of documentaries. You know, anybody that say, you know, can we do something? I'm down with you. Hey, it's all right. Good. Yeah, hey, let's go.
Okay.
And, you know, even on 125th Street, there are things on YouTube on 125th Street where I'm just on 125th Street talking.
Did you-
Pretty soon a crowd comes around and...
Now, just got a question. Did you think that it would become what it became after you did that first interview?
Because that's what I was just about to say.
Oh, okay.
That was another documentary like so many others that I did. It was set up the same exact way, same folk, same concept, same idea.
Yeah.
And contacted me, and they told me that it was going to be in a movie house. Now that was the point of departure for all the others that I had ever done. That this documentary was going to be in a movie house. And I was scheduled to do a presentation at a college that day. The first showing was 7, the second one was at 10. You know Mfundishi? He's a Kemetic priest in New York.
Okay.
He follows the tradition very closely. He and I were doing something on magical Egypt, a joint presentation. And so, like, it's getting 6:30, 6:45, I say, you know, Mfundishi, I'm going to have to go, you know, because I got to get to the movie house. I said, you know, I mean, Hidden Colors coming out. They told me to be there just to represent the movie, so I'm going. He said, go ahead, bro. I'll hold it down here. So I went ahead, and it was just amazing because, first of all, everyone's in the movie house is already. I walk in, and the first thing that I get hit with is how many people are in the movie house. I'm shocked. I just.
Wow.
I never thought. Never in my wildest imaginations did I think. When at the end of and plus I saw myself on the screen. I never, you know, I mean, I'm used to that TV, you know, that little box. Now all of a sudden I'm saying, wow, I got that big, that screen. I'm saying, wow, this is really something else. I had never experienced anything like that in my life. We're talking about April of 2011. Yeah, because he'd take me in 10.
Okay.
December 10.
Okay.
Like it was December 16th or a Thursday in December in 2010.
Okay.
The premiere was April of 11. And the way the movie house is structured, it's almost, in a sense, like it comes to a point. So I said, let me get out of here because if anyone recognized me, then there's going to be a bottleneck right here at the back of the theater. Nobody's going to get out. So let me just step outside into the street. I'm walking out and I turn around, but then my peripheral vision tells me something, and I look down and there are people wrapped around the block.
Wow.
For the second showing of Hidden Colors. Now you see, I'm not used to this. This is not part of my background. I'm a street soldier. I consider myself. You know, I'm on the street teaching. When the people come out, there's young people. They say, "Yo, brother, you know, like I didn't know it was going to drop like this." You know, because Tariq had put it on World Star Hip Hop, and for those that follow World Star Hip Hop, you know what that's about. And you had a lot of brothers say, "Yo, man, I saw this on World Star Hip Hop. It was Hidden Colors. I thought this was going to be Nicki Minaj and Lil Wayne and Drake, and now all of a sudden you come up here and drop this knowledge." They say, "But now that you got me open, where do I go from here?" And then I realized something at that point, and that is for those of us who know this information, have gone to the presentations, know the folk that's doing this, Hidden Colors didn't teach us anything. But what it did do, it kind of put it in a way that we could be happy to see this done professionally.
Right, exactly. That's what I was telling people.
Africans in Asia, the Moors, we know this. We've known this for years.
And it also reached an audience of people that might not have read a lot of the books or might not have been to the presentation.
That's the other piece.
Yep.
For some people, they had never an idea that there were Africans in Asia. They had
Right.
no idea of the origins of life in Africa. They had no idea of the Moors. They heard folk calling each other Mo, but they didn't know what
Right.
Mo was. They didn't know Mo
Right,
was short
right.
for Moor. So this was not in their mind. So they said, where do we go from here? I realized that for some people that was overwhelming. Weeks, and I promised myself that I would not leave my house until, if ever I were in the street again, and somebody came to me and said, brother, you know, can you name me a book? I didn't want to just give them a book. I wanted to give them a study guide. That's the study guide that I'm telling you about.
Okay.
That I'd like to share. So I shut down for 2 weeks, and I wrote a study guide
For hidden colors?
for hidden colors.
Yeah.
And tomorrow, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to do a piece on how to study hidden colors.
Okay.
Because it's one thing to watch hidden colors. It's
Right.
another thing to study it. And so I offered a study guide free of charge. It's 70 pages. Because I was serious, because I was really concerned.
I'd like to get a copy of that.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, email me and I'll just send it right to you. In
Absolutely.
fact, when I was in my
Absolutely.
hotel room a few moments ago, I sent out 4.
Okay.
You know, because people contact me, they see me, I talk about it. But it's 70 pages and it complements Hidden Colors. I don't call it Hidden Colors because I don't want to mess with Tariq's brand.
Right.
That belongs
Right.
to him. And I know I don't play with people's creativity.
Right.
That's your baby.
Right.
I'm not going to claim it.
Right.
But something as important as that needs a complement. So that if you're talking about the Africans in Asia, but what books do you use? You know, James Brunson has a book called Black Jade. Very few people know about that book. He's a very good friend of Runoko Rashidi. Runoko Rashidi and Ivan Van Sertima's African Presence in Early Asia.
Right.
And so what the study guide does, it breaks it down, not just in terms of the books, but how to study the books. It breaks it down into essays and themes. But when you get it, you'll understand what I'm talking about.
Awesome.
And that's what I bring to the communities that I visit with the methodologies of teaching. Because Wade Nobles talks about content and intent. Content is what you teach, intent is how you teach it. There is an African method of holistic education that is not in the Board of Education. And that's why our children are not only our children, but their children aren't getting it.
Well, when we showed Hidden Colors 2 in Buffalo at the Market Arcade, it was a packed house. And the majority of the people in there were young people. A lot of black males came out. And
Yes, they
came
did.
From the colleges
Yes,
and the
yes,
universities. I
yes.
was stunned. I was,
Yeah.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
when Tariq got up and talked about why he made the film and how he did it, there was lines of people. I was trying to get next to him to have a picture. I couldn't even get next to him.
Yeah.
My granddaughters beat me to the punch.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, the young people really loved the film. And they were educated, because so many of them didn't know.
Yes.
And when I mentioned to my granddaughters who were 18 that you were coming, they're going to come see you. They said, Ma, is that the man that was in Hidden Colors? We're going to be there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's wonderful to have something to reach our young people.
Yeah.
Yes, it
So
is.
important.
Absolutely.
You know, but you know what?
And you know, I can tell you the same
Accept the
thing. You know, I can tell you the same thing because that's what happened with me. The audience, Hidden Colors changed my entire life. It just had such a strong impact. The places that I go now, the people who contact me,
It's opened up doors for all of you in that film, right?
all of us, all of us in our own area. And what my own personal gratification is that I've worked with young people for so long, because that's my background, early childhood. Because I've worked with young people for so long, I have a sense of how to introduce it to them. It's almost like my entire career was almost like my postgraduate studies.
Okay.
Because now I tell people I'm doing what I was born to do now. And I'm taking all those experiences of being able to teach math and science and language arts and all the subjects to children. Now I'm taking Hidden Colors and I'm introducing to them on that level. So it's almost like I've been getting ready for today. And tomorrow.
And
And tomorrow.
Of course,
He's
that's
a
right.
former kindergarten teacher.
Yeah, yeah. My license is early childhood. Yeah, kindergarten, first grade. I've taught
We had
pregnant
that in
mothers.
Buffalo, it would blow people's minds.
Oh,
We have
yeah.
never seen that here.
Yeah.
And I was in the school system for 30 years. We didn't even have male teachers at the elementary level.
Yeah.
Most of them were at junior high or high school.
Yeah.
And not that many black males,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah.
You know,
I could write a book on my experiences with my kindergarten children. I tell people my greatest teachers were my 5-year-olds. They taught me, if you want to know about yourself, hang around 5-year-olds.
That's right.
Because they're too pure not to tell you
Not
the
to
truth.
tell you the truth.
And they will
That's
drop it on you right there.
Yes, they
you know?
will.
You know, and they don't mean to hurt you. They'll say it to you with all the love in the world. But they will pierce you and they'll read you. Right. You know, and I've been around them long enough and they read me and I learned that when children trust you, when you interact with them on a certain level, they will let you into their world. And when you get into their world, it taught me so much about what we have to do.